Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the. How would I start this here? I don't know.
Fumbling in the very first
Week
seconds.
14. Here we go.
There you
I
go.
wanted to get it a little bit hype, but I wanted it to be like, what the hell's he doing? That's a perfect intro to what should be another fun week of football. My record versus Owens' record this last week. He finished 15-1. I'm 14-2. Don't know why he picked the Patriots over the Colts, but he did.
Oh,
Anyway,
okay. It
I
was
also
close. It was so close.
I
So
picked
bummed
I
about that.
picked the Ravens over the Eagles, and then the other game I can't think of off the top of my head.
Dolphins game.
But the Dolphins. Oh yeah,
Yeah, it was a little rough.
Either way, 132-63 to 141-54. 9 games back of the lead of Owen. Can I catch up? Team Thomas, let me know in the comments. Anyway, let's move into it. Thursday night football will be here shortly, but first we have the teams in the bye week. Five
AFC teams.
AFC teams. The Ravens, Broncos, Texans, all playoff teams. A contender in the Colts there, and then the Patriots, who have been solid these last couple weeks. And on the NFC side, Dan Quinn, Jaden Daniels get a good rest after a walloping of the Tennessee Titans last week. So this is, I believe, if I am 100% correct here, the final bye week of the
I believe so, yeah.
NFL season. So congratulations to everybody for their bye weeks. It's time to close out the season. Starting off on Thursday night, a barn burner. The Lions 11-1, the 1 seed in the NFC North and in the conference of the NFC. Taking on the Packers, who are somehow 9-3, but third in the division, considering how great that division is.
Crazy.
As the 6th seed currently, the 7 seed Commanders on bye. Who do you got in this one, Owen? An absolute barn burner of a matchup. Last time, a 24-14 Lions win. This time, it's in Detroit. Does it change a lot here for you? Do the Packers split the season series and draw one game back in the division? Or do the Lions lock up a sweep of their division rival?
Well, I will say I'm very thankful that Thursday Night Football has actually been somewhat decent this season. And this is this might be like the cream of the crop right here, like the very top for me in terms of matchups this season. And for this game specifically, it's pretty interesting because the Packers a couple weeks ago, we were like, oh, Packers don't look the same as they did earlier in the season. It looks like they might start to fall off here. And they kind of regained their footing and started actually playing well in these games. And they didn't really lose any games either. And they just kept winning football games. And now they're looking really good in their wins, especially last week against Miami. And for Detroit, it almost seems like they're slowing down a little bit, but they're still winning these games at 11-1. And give me the Green Bay Packers to win this one in an upset here. Last year, the Packers went into Detroit on Thanksgiving and beat them in Detroit. I think it's going to happen again this season. It's really hard to pick against the Lions right now because they are on a 10-game winning streak. And I think this might be the first game all season I am picking the Lions to lose. The Lions seem like they're starting to get figured out just a little bit. The offense hasn't looked the same in recent weeks. And the defense is really, really, really banged up right now. And I feel like the Packers can certainly take advantage of it, make a couple big plays on defense. It's like the offense is going to have a really nice day here. So give me the Green Bay Packers in an upset to make the NFC North so much more interesting, and the 1 seed interesting as well in these final couple of weeks.
Yeah, I definitely hope that happens just for the sake of chaos, but for the sake of my reality, until the Lions lose, I'm picking Dan Campbell and the Detroit Lions. They'll fight off any kneecaps in their way, and I think they do it on Thursday night. If this game was on Sunday, I would pick Green Bay, and I told my buddy Alex that earlier today, and he called me crazy, but here's the problem. The Lions are on a short week, yes. However, Dan Campbell has not lost a Thursday night football game in his coaching career. Well, if you don't count their game on Thanksgiving last year against Green Bay, that is what I was going to say. But 4-1 is his record, I think, or something. No, I know.
So it's possible.
It's like 3-1. It's 3-1, I think. Something.
I can look it up.
Either way, Lions I think they've got a good chance in this football game. I think this is going to be a back and forth game of two very good teams in the NFC, by the way. Honestly, they might be 1, 2, and 3 right now, with the Eagles mixed in between them. But nonetheless, I think that I'm going to have to lean with my Lions to win this game in this one. They are the NFC team, and I say my Lions because they're the team in the NFC I picked at the beginning of the year to win the Super Bowl, and I'm sticking with them in this one. A 24-14 win last time. This time, 27-24, a Jake Bates walk-off kick to sweep the division rival Green Bay Packers. Moving into our next game, a very anticlimactic switch. Giants Saints coming in at 2-10, an absolute behemoth in the NFC East. The New York Giants, led by Devin Singletary.
Oof.
As on the other side, you have Taysom Hill, Michael Thomas,
wow. Jesus.
Drew Brees, Derek Carr.
Drew Brees, come on, man.
With the Saints, 4-8, third in the NFC South, somehow still alive for that division that has just been garbage, to say the least, these last couple of weeks. Who do you got winning this one between two of the worst teams in the conference? Is it the Giants' day? Do they finally get a win? Or do the Saints pull this one out on the road in MetLife Stadium?
Well, obviously this is going to be one of those games that not a lot of people are really going to care about. And this is also...
What do you mean, bro? This is my favorite match of the week.
Oh, yeah, I know. You're a big Saints guy. Yeah, I know. But with this game, this is the time of the season where teams start becoming eliminated from the playoffs, as you see here in the graphic. Giants, one of the first teams eliminated so far this season. One of 4 teams eliminated last week, Giants being one of them. And Giants rolling with Drew Lock yet again this week against the Saints, barring something unexpected happening. And they did suffer quite a few injuries last week, including the big one, Dexter Lawrence, out for the season with an injury. That's a big guy, the big person they lost right in the middle of that defensive line.
Yeah, he is a big guy.
Yeah, he really is. But I'm going to go with the New Orleans Saints here. The Saints still have a lot to fight for. Really, if you think about it, not a lot of people are really thinking about it, but they could really win the NFC South still, considering how rough they kind of been playing. Marquez Valdez-Scantling, again, has been a huge pickup. He had another big play last week. And the Falcons have been falling off. Buccaneers haven't looked quite the same, but they're finding their groove again.
The Panthers are the Panthers.
Yeah, Panthers are 3 games back, but they can get eliminated this week also. So it's very tight in the NFC South right now. So give me the Saints to win this one, and the Giants are going to start tanking here officially and start looking towards the draft here.
Yes, before we continue, though, I have to give him a little bit of a plug. My buddy upstairs here, not the man upstairs, but Owen. Score prediction video is a slideshow around 3 minutes long, if that. If you guys want that, you can also look on this same channel in probably the description below as we get set to go for these next few weeks. He'll give you them score predictions every single week. It's in the slideshow. 2 or 3 minutes out of your day. Take the time to look at Owen's scores. But without further ado, I do think the Saints come marching in to MetLife. I had to throw that pun out there, but I think they get this one done. I'm going to say 20-13, a very close game, I'd say. I'm not too confident in either of these two teams to win this game. However, the Saints have looked like a completely different team under Rizzi as head coach. So with him coming out and making all these plays for this team, I understand they lost Taysom Hill to the season-ending injury this week as well. But, however, I think that the Saints team is just a little bit better equipped to win these kinds of football games. They're not technically eliminated yet. The Giants are. Nothing left to play for other than the first overall draft pick, which obviously winning would not help. So I think the Giants are going to be in official tank mode at this point. So go ahead and give me the Giants to lose this one at home, 20-13. As we move on to the Eagles and the Panthers.
Speaking of the Panthers,
interesting game to say the least. I understand the records don't indicate that. However, Panthers have not been that 3-9 Panthers team that we see on the screen there these last few weeks. They have been better than that. kept it close with the Chiefs, kept it close again last week with the Bucks. If it wasn't for a Chuba Hubbard fumble, we might be talking about a win. And the 4-8, sorry, I don't know how to do math. 4-8 Panthers right now. But on the other side, you got Saquon Barkley in this Eagles team that just will not give up, will not give in, taking on the Ravens last week, and a potential person in the MVP conversation in Lamar Jackson, as well as Derrick Henry on that side that Saquon silenced in that game. Who do you got in this one? I'm assuming we already know. However, I think it could be a very fun game. Eagles, Panthers on Fox. Who do you got, Owen?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Eagles here. Yeah, big surprise, I know, but slight bold prediction here I have. I don't think Bryce Young's going to have as good of a game in this one. The Eagles' defense has really been suffocating other offenses on the opposing side of the field, and I think it's going to continue to happen here. I think Bryce Young is going to go back down to earth a little bit. I know I can still see him making some nice plays, but I don't think it's going to be too pretty of a day for the Panthers. This might be another big Saquon Barkley day. So if anyone has him in fantasy, that being me, I should probably start him this week. Just throwing that out there. But
should start him this week like anyone's ever going to sit Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, I know. I mean,
he went up against the number one rushing defense last week in the Ravens, and I still think everybody started him.
Yeah, I did too, and I'm glad I did because he got me like 18 points or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, give me the Eagles to win this one, which I believe should just about end the Panthers' season. So can cross off the Panthers and potentially circle the Eagles in for the 1 seed if the Lions do indeed lose. So very interesting thing to keep an eye on. But who do you got in this one?
Have to go ahead and lean with the Eagles here. They have been the better football team recently. I understand that the Panthers have kept it close in these games. They've been solid, but you're going up against the Philadelphia Eagles team right now that I have doubted almost every single week, it feels like. I have them losing. I've had them losing a couple games that they've ended up winning this season so far. I will not be the idiot to pick the Panthers in this game. Not saying Carolina's bad, but they're bad. Unfortunately for them, this is a tough game. I do think that the Eagles get this one done. I have a final score of 31-21. I think it's 31-14, and they get a late touchdown at the end in garbage time. I think that's a lot better of a fight than most people are expecting in this kind of a game. And for the opposite side to happen here, it's going to need a miracle on defense to stop Saquon Barkley, especially without Derek Brown up the middle, the first round, 9th overall selection out of Auburn a few years back. So with that being said, go ahead and give me the Eagles by 10 in this matchup. Moving on to the Kirk Cousins revenge game. I swear the NFL is rigged sometimes because this is just – it's one of those things that's just so weird for me, man. It's just you never understand how it happens, but it happens. Deshaun Watson leaves, and the Browns suddenly play the Texans the next season. It happens every single time with a quarterback, it feels like. And it's happening again this year. This time it's in Minnesota, too. A big Kirk revenge game. And fun little tidbit I want to throw out there. Since 2014 to now, the Falcons have lost 6 of the 7 meetings between these two teams. Does history repeat itself, Owen, or do the Falcons get a much-needed win after a 3-game losing skid?
I think that streak will continue. I think history will repeat itself here. I would love to see Kirk Cousins go into Minnesota and win, but after throwing 4 interceptions against the Chargers defense, and now going up against the Vikings defense, which has been top 10 in the league this season, easily, it's going to probably be another rough outing for Kirk Cousins. I'm not really sure what the issue is going on there, but I mean, certainly it's on the shoulders of Kirk Cousins right now because the interceptions he threw last week were not pretty. He was throwing passes under triple coverage. They really got to get him settled down again. It almost feels like I'm talking about maybe Josh Allen from a few years ago, sugar high Josh Allen. You know, he's just trying to make so many big plays, but a lot of them are getting intercepted right now. And the Vikings, they're still continuing to find ways to win. Even when they're in their little struggle patch, they are still winning games. This just feels like another classic Vikings game where it could be a very close game, but Vikings are going to be able to make those plays at the end of the game, and they're going to be able to win this one. And it almost feels like these two teams are opposites a little bit because the Falcons, in recent weeks, they've been finding ways to lose games, and the Vikings have been keep finding ways to win games. So give me the Vikings in this matchup. Move to 11-2 on the season, which nobody saw coming, and be right at the top of that NFC North with Detroit and Green Bay.
Yeah, I have Atlanta snapping that streak. I think Kirk Cousins heads home to Minnesota and takes down his former team. Hear me out. Falcons are due for a win. They absolutely need one. And if we're talking about anything with one team where you can see it happen, I think it's this Vikings team. Not only are the Vikings one of those teams that for some reason cannot find ways to win like a game by 2 scores, always close, always in those very tight games every single week, it feels like. But they also can't really do much in these second halves, except for last week, I guess, the Cardinals game, they looked good. However, here's the thing. I think Atlanta needs this game really badly. I think they're understanding they're on a 3-game losing streak. And if there's any game that's going to get Kirk Cousins back on the right track, it's a revenge game in Minnesota. I think if there's any game that's going to get him back on track, it's going to be a game against his former team. He's going to want to prove him wrong, and he's going to win this one. A 21-17 thrilling football game. Scott Hansen's going to be calling this one the witching hour because I think the Vikings have it in the bag, and a Kirk Cousins game-winning drive is just going to end this one. I think that the Falcons are due for a win. They absolutely need this one to stay alive in the division, especially with the Bucs playing the Raiders. We'll get to that later on. But the Falcons need this one, and I think they get a much-needed victory on the road in Minnesota as we disagree on our second game of the week already, just 4 games in. I'm loving it.
All right.
Moving on to the next one. I think that this is a massive game right here for these two teams, only because I'm not even kidding either. I think this really is a massive game. I can see your spark
for the draft, yeah.
For the draft, yes. This is a huge game. If the Jaguars win, then both teams are 3-10, but the Titans lost this game, so they will actually have the better draft pick. Meaning that if the Titans lose this game, they will be the recipient of the first overall pick as long as the Giants can win as well. So we'll see if that actually happens. If the Giants lose, the Giants are 1, Titans would be 2. So we'll see how it shakes up. But a massive week of football here. I don't know what you have in this one. The last matchup between these two teams was last season. This is the first of 2. Their last one will be in Week 18. Owen, who do you got winning a Tank Bowl? Will Levis or Mac Jones? I can't believe that's a matchup this season.
Yeah, I saw right when I was getting out of work that the Jaguars placed Trevor Lawrence on IR. So prayers to Trevor Lawrence. I know it's been a very rough season for you guys. And looking over the Tennessee side of things, Will Levis has actually been looking pretty decent these past couple of weeks. Kind of been a bit of a surprise. Like Bryce Young and Will Levis are suddenly playing like decent quarterbacks these past few weeks.
Yeah.
And the Jaguars, again, looking back at the Jags, just not a whole lot of bright spots on this team. 2-10 record. Just with the expectations going into the season, just to see them with a 2-10 record, Trevor Lawrence and IR, Mac Jones starting games, and already eliminated from playoff contention, and it's Week 14 it's honestly pretty sad to see like a collapse like this happen. But give me the Tennessee Titans to win this game. Will Levis has been looking good in recent weeks. The offense has been moving the ball. They've been scoring points lately, even though they did lose last week. And the Jaguars are, they did put up a fight against the Texans, but, the Texans haven't really looked the same these past few weeks either. So it's kind of hard to gauge the Jaguars that way, especially considering Mac Jones is under center. So give me the Tennessee Titans to win this one and stay alive for one more week.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with you on this one. The Titans in a 17-16 game. I think this is going to be an absolute crap game. Honestly, I don't know who's going to actually win this game. I really back and forth on this one a lot. I scribbled out the Jaguars at first and wrote Titans and scribbled it out again and then rewrote Titans. So really didn't know who to go with in this matchup, but I did end up picking the Tennessee Titans to get this one done. I know I sound crazy, but a very fun game, I think, because it's a division rivalry game. It's close. Obviously, these are the games you live for, especially in a game like this where you really need it to determine playoffs. Not playoffs, but draft seeding. So go ahead and give me the Titans to win this one. They just have their starting quarterback playing. I feel like that's such a big deal for them. if Lawrence plays, I think they probably win. But unfortunately for them, that's not the case. I'll go ahead and give Tennessee this win here to remain, I guess, in it for the potential last wild card because who gives a shit?
I know Bills fans don't.
Yeah, literally no. Moving into the next game, a game we might care about. It is the Dolphins and the Jets. Jets barely hanging in there, but the Dolphins are still somewhat competitive. A decently easy schedule down the stretch. 5-7 right now where it stands. Chance to make that final wild card spot if they win out all 5 of their games, which is decently realistic, playing Houston, I think the Jets again, and a couple other teams in there in the mix as well. But I do think that it is somewhat possible for them. We'll see how it goes. Owen, do you have the Dolphins keeping their season alive, or do the Jets keeping their season alive, or do the Dolphins spoil it at home?
Well, I will say props to the Jets, first of all. They've managed to play good football for at least one half of a game. So give props to the Jets a little bit for that. But still losing these football games as a game like this falls perfectly into the Dolphins' lap. At home, playing a team with a record under 500. It really just it really does scream a Dolphins W. So I'm going with the Miami Dolphins here in this one. This is really the final stretch of the season here. Jets, I feel like they have absolutely no motivation at this point of the season. They had all those expectations, and even if they end up winning out at the end of the season, it's still going to be a huge failure for this organization.
That'd be hilarious, honestly. 8-9.
If they just start winning now, as soon as they get basically eliminated. But for the Dolphins, that in the hunt category is still very fascinating. The last wildcard team, like every wildcard team, I believe, has 8 wins right now. And then the rest of those AFC in the hunt teams, minus the Colts, are all basically 5-7 or under. So Dolphins, they still got a chance. It's a slim chance right now, but they still have a chance. Obviously, so does the Jets, but that's kind of a different story for them. But Dolphins, really, if they can win out this final stretch, they're putting themselves in a good position to have a good chance at making the playoffs come week 18. So we'll see what happens in these next couple weeks, but give me the Dolphins to win what should be an easy one at home against the Jets.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with the Dolphins too, despite my unwaveringness to want to pick the Jets in this game. Tua, for some reason, this Dolphins team, they suck against the Bills. They're great against the Patriots, and then they're iffy against the Jets. However, I think that Miami being at home is such a crucial factor for this game, especially with the weather we've been having in Western New York here. So I can only assume that MetLife is going to be decently cold at this time of year as well. So I do think being at home helps them, plays into their favor for this matchup. I think the Dolphins get this one done. A close game, though, 20-17. Jets may not have much to play for here, but I think they're going to keep it close like they have in a lot of these games. Look at that Seahawks game. They almost beat the Seahawks last week. So I do think that the Dolphins are going to have this win, but it's going to be a very close game. Give me Miami to win, though, in a 20-17 final. Dolphins win the first of 2 meetings between these two teams in the AFC East. As we move on to the Buccaneers and the Raiders, another one of those 4 teams eliminated from the playoff contention last week. However, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are very much alive in the NFC South, a weak NFC South at that. The Vikings taking on the Falcons this week. If Atlanta loses and Tampa wins, they shoot up to number 1 in the NFC South and back into the playoffs just like that. However, on the other side of the coin here, Falcons could win and the Bucs could win, which is what I have, and that could end up being the start of maybe something new for the Falcons. We'll see. But Owen, a rematch, a Super Bowl 37, a 48-25 final score. John Gruden Bowl. Who do you got, Owen? Do you got the Raiders or the Bucs?
Well, I will say this is a huge trap game for the Buccaneers here. This is a team that they should beat. It's a team that's eliminated from playoff contention. It is a team that should be tanking right now. And this Buccaneers squad is right in the thick of it in the NFC South, like you already mentioned, trying to get first place. Again, I did say it is a trap game, but I think the Buccaneers will take care of business in this one. Raiders at this point, they shouldn't, unless it's like a team that they really want to beat or something, they really want to spoil their season. I mean, I feel like for the Buccaneers, I don't really feel like if they I don't know if I want to say like it really ruins their season if they lose this game, because knowing the Falcons, they're probably still going to end up losing another game at some point too. So I wouldn't say it's a huge game, but this is definitely a game that you should have in the bag. I think the Buccaneers do get this win here. Go over 500 again this season, and stay in the thick of it in the NFC South. Very competitive. It'll be very entertaining to watch that division for these last couple weeks.
Yeah, I have to ride with the Bucs too. Obviously, I already kind of mentioned that, but a 28-14 final score. I have to go Tampa Bay. It's a big matchup here. I think it would be kind of funny if, like I mentioned, how this is a matchup of Super Bowl 37. In that one, obviously, John Gruden was on the Bucs and won the Super Bowl against his former team, being the Raiders. How funny would it be if we saw Desmond Ridder come in, a former Atlanta Falcon, and win this game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, a former division rival matchup for him? That'd be kind of funny. However, Aiden O'Connell will start, obviously. We already know that. Big deal. But 28-14, Bucs handle this one. They're at home. This is a matchup they have to have. I think they get this one done easily here. Go ahead and give me the Bucs as we move on to the Cardinals Seahawks. Just kidding.
Oh, no. For the 1 p.m. game, buddy.
No.
You thought you were slick.
Yeah, as you see, the Seahawks, they're 9-3, first in the AFC North.
Whoa.
No, I know. I'm messing with you. And then on the other side, we got the Cardinals. As you can see there, it says Browns in big old letters. 3-9, fourth in the AFC North. Either way, it's a division rivalry matchup, okay, between two teams that are interesting. The Browns won the first matchup 24-19 in an absolute blizzard in Cleveland. However, this time in Pittsburgh, a matchup between two teams that are very different this season. However, Browns have had some new life with Jameis Winston. Owen, do the Browns, for the first time in team history, sweep the Pittsburgh Steelers?
They've never swept the Steelers before?
Not once. Or
that's so funny.
Or do the Steelers take down the Cleveland Browns again? The only time the Steelers have lost 2 games in a season to the Browns was back in 2020, when the Browns made the playoff game against the Steelers and won the wild card game. They were tied at 1-1 that season already. So only time in team history they've ever beaten the Steelers twice. It took 3 games. So can the Browns do it and win their first ever sweep over the division rival Steelers?
You know, this matchup just reminded me I got to watch the first episode of Hard Knocks after this. That I most definitely need to do. But I got the Steelers winning this one. I got the Steelers getting their revenge against the Browns. Their offense is not going to be nearly as explosive as it was last week. You played the worst defense in the league in the Cincinnati Bengals. And the Browns defense, it did have a huge hiccup a couple days ago, actually, against the Denver Broncos, against the rookie quarterback. So who knows? Maybe the Steelers could put up a lot of points here, but I don't see them putting up that many points again. At most, maybe close to like 30. I don't think that they're going to get anything above 30. But for the Browns, they've been competitive. Jameis Winston, he threw for a crap ton of yards last week and 2 pick sixes as well. So back to the original Jameis Winston form, I see, which is something that we really needed back in this league. We needed the OG Jameis Winston back. But give me Pittsburgh to win this one. Pittsburgh still really kind of fighting for that division. Baltimore's still right behind them, even though it feels like Baltimore's been losing all these games. Baltimore's on a bye week at 8-5 right now. So if the Steelers can win this game, they're going to separate themselves by 2 games, which is huge, really, really huge, going into this final stretch of the season, as this Browns loss that I'm predicting here will more than likely end their season in Pittsburgh. So give me the Steelers to keep on winning as Mr. Unlimited gets another W.
With a loss, the Browns would definitely be eliminated from the playoffs. However, I think I'm kidding. I have the Pittsburgh Steelers winning this game. 24-13. I think they dominate this one through 3.5 quarters. A late touchdown makes it 24-13. Pittsburgh with a win here. They realize that they lost the first time. They won't let it happen twice. This time at home, they get this one done. Take a 2-game division lead over the Pittsburgh Steelers rivals, Baltimore Ravens, with a win in this game. As now we go to the Cardinals versus Seahawks.
There we go.
Anyway, we have the Pittsburgh Steelers on the right.
Oh, okay, dude.
At 6-6, the Cardinals hosting the 7-5, first in the NFC West, 3-seeded Seattle Seahawks, who are the biggest frauds of a 7-5 record I've ever seen in my life. However, the Arizona Cardinals being at home in this game, they've been a way better team at home. Owen, are we sniffing an upset on your end here? Do the Cardinals get this one done? Or does Seattle take firm control of the NFC West?
Just like how for the previous game, I said the Steelers are going to get the revenge. Cardinals are getting their revenge in this one as well. I got the Cardinals winning. Still making this NFC West up for grabs. Like, what the hell is going on? As soon as you think someone's going to run away with this division, does not happen. There was a.
I hope it literally comes down to like they're all at 7 or 8 wins in the last week.
Oh,
that'd be amazing.
They'd have a Sunday Night Football doubleheader at that point. Mike Tirico doing one game, Chris Collinsworth doing the other. No,
Chris Collinsworth just laughing in the background. Oh, Mike, give it to him, Mike.
Oh, I'm bringing a little Kansas City here because they're winning the game. No, but in the early part of the season, it did look like the Rams were really like the top team in the West, and then we're like, oh no, here come the Niners. Then I was like, oh no, maybe Seattle, and it was, oh no, Arizona might sneak away with it.
Oh, maybe
and now Seattle is the lead, but now Seattle's playing Arizona, so it's gonna flip back to Arizona here again. At least I think it will. Seahawks, they really scared me last week against the Jets. They almost lost to the Jets. That first half was really rough, and they had to really battle in that second half to get that win. That win was not easy for them, and if it wasn't for that Leonard Williams pick six, they probably wouldn't have won that game. So I'm going to go with the Cardinals here. Feels like they're trying to find themselves again. I feel like they're getting closer to that. I think they will finally find their groove again in this one. I think they're going to look really good in this game. Kyler Murray, I think, is going to have a really good game. Geno Smith, I hate to say it, might have an interception or two. I hate to say it because I don't want to say that the Seahawks are frauds as much as you love to say that they are frauds. But give me the Cardinals to win this one, take first place in the NFC West, and continue the chaos that is the NFC right now.
Yeah, I think that this one is a surefire way to get back at that 16-6 loss earlier in the season. These two teams really had the biggest opposite week we could ever have. The Cardinals were in firm control at halftime. The Seahawks were completely destroyed at halftime. And then the script flips, and now all of a sudden we're talking about the 7-5 Seahawks, not Cardinals, and the 6-6 Cardinals, not Seahawks. Unfortunately for Arizona fans, that's a tough loss for them. However, I think they get this one back. I think they're going to win this week. And if the Rams can somehow beat the Bills, who are on a hot streak, they'd all be at the top of the division at 7-6.
Oh.
And on top of that, even if the Rams lose and the Niners win, then they would both be at 6-7. And if the Cardinals win this game, they're both at 7-6. So literally they're all within a game of each other at the end of this week, more than likely. However, I think that the Cardinals win this one 27-23, a fun, barn-burning game. It's in Arizona. They played way better at home. I can't see them being swept again by the Seahawks. I think that this time they mellow out and they even the series, a 1-1 tie at the end of the year. But for this game, it's not a tie, a 27-23 Cardinals victory at home to tie the Seahawks at the top of the NFC West. As speaking of them, San Francisco 49ers, they're finally back where they belong in the warm weather, taking on the Chicago Bears, who I'm sure wish this game was at home after what they saw last week on Sunday night. However, this Niners team needs a win badly. So do the Chicago Bears, though. The Bears have been way better than that 4-8 record indicates. This will be the first game under Thomas Brown, the interim head coach, who was once the offense's quarterback coach. After the offensive coordinator, Luke Getsy, got fired halfway through the year, moves up to offensive coordinator, and now has sprung into the head coaching role. So very interesting to see what's going on with him. I'm sure he was not expecting this promotion at the beginning of the season, but here we are. Thomas Brown, good luck, buddy. Your first game here. It's against San Francisco, a team that's been reeling. Do you think the Bears have the interim coach effect and win this game, or do the 49ers get a much-needed win to stay alive in the NFC playoff picture?
This might be one of the most confident games I can say, which I'm totally jinxing myself already. But give me the Chicago Bears to win this game.
Whoa.
The Niners are banged up beyond belief right now. They do not have a running back. I feel like they've lost so much confidence, especially in last week's game against the Bills. And the Bears have been so close to winning all of these games. They are really, really, really overdue for a win right now. And they just fired their head coach, and I think that interim head coach effect will happen. I think the Bears are going to win this game, and I think it could very well potentially be by 2 scores. I am that confident in the Bears winning this one. Obviously, this isn't in the windy, snowy conditions that is Western New York. Instead, it is in the nice, warm, cozy, safe San Francisco. But give me the Chicago Bears to win. Obviously, this will really kill the Niners' chances at the West, but knowing the NFC West, this will not kill their season. They'll still have a chance to make up ground, considering every team is swapping through first place in the West right now. So we'll see what happens with that. But obviously, Bears are not winning their division. They're trying to get a wild card spot if they can. It's not looking too good right now, but this win in San Francisco will definitely help them. So give me the Bears to pull the upset in San Francisco and beat the Niners.
Yeah, I've never been more confident in my life that I'm not picking the Bears. 49ers are going to win this football game. Here's the deal. The Niners need this game way more than the Bears do. The Bears and the Niners are both due for wins, yes. However, the 49ers absolutely need this one. And if you're telling me that an interim coach effect with a guy who was the quarterback coach to start the season is going to take down one of the best offensive minds in the game in Kyle Shanahan, you are sadly mistaken. A close game, yes, 24-21. I think this one's going to be a fun game. I could see a world where the Bears win this game. I get it, yes, but here's the problem. This 49ers team needs this game so badly, and I think that they pull this one out. If this was in Chicago, definitely a different story, but being at home, a massive boost in this game. Way better head coach, obviously, as we know. I understand the interim coach effect. However, every single season for these last few years, we've always had the interim coach effect where there's one guy who's not going to give them the boost. There's most teams that get the boost, right? Every single year we got those couple dudes that give them boosts, and those teams go on shocking runs like Antonio Pierce and all the other guys down the line. But you also have the interim head coaches that just don't really do shit. And we've seen it these last couple of years, but we'll see how it goes this time around. I don't think that this is going to be the turnaround for the Bears, though. Unfortunately, Bears fans, you lose another one here. Probably in heartbreaking fashion somehow. But
had to throw that in there.
Go ahead and give me – you know what? 49ers win 23-21. They block a field goal and return it for a touchdown. Go ahead.
How can you predict that?
Yeah, I don't know. Give me the Bears to lose this one just like that. Or it's going to go to overtime. Bears are going to get a field goal, and then the Niners are going to get a kickoff return touchdown the other way to win this one.
Or it's going to be one of those things the Bears take the lead with 2 seconds left to kick it off, and then the Niners do 20 laterals and they score.
Or hear me out. The game's tied at 21 right at the end. A kick off the upright into the 49ers returner's hands, and he returns it.
Or hear me out. The Bears win.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, I didn't even see that one, huh?
Not happening. Moving on to our Buffalo Bills, 10-2 on the road in LA this week. As Josh Allen's probably going to be getting married in LA. Who knows? We'll see what happens. But the Rams are 6-6, third in the NFC West, trying so hard to get back into the mix of the first spot in that division and the potential final spot in the playoffs as of now. However, taking on one of the best teams in the league right now in Buffalo. One thing I want to mention here, a fun little tidbit for everybody at home. I'm a diehard Bills fan, so is Owen, of course. In Josh Allen's career, he has a 7-1 record against NFC West opponents, and his only loss is a Kyler Murray Hail Mary on a walk-off touchdown to DeAndre.
So Matthew Stafford Hail Mary to Puka Nacua at the end of this game. Got it.
So, in all honesty here, Josh Allen has basically 8-0 in his career against an NFC West team. One of those games was on my birthday against the Rams. Actually, two now because he beat the Cardinals this year on my birthday. I don't know why they like NFC West games on my birthday. Who cares? But the Bills and the Rams. Owen, do you have an upset with the Rams, or do your Buffalo Bills and my Buffalo Bills keep it rolling in SoFi Stadium? Let me just pencil this down.
Well, I also want to say this here, too. Josh Allen and the Sean McDermott are undefeated in SoFi Stadium as well, even though it might just be the one game. But give me the Bills to win this one, obviously. Rams, they won it last week against the Saints, which is why I said the Saints earlier. But the Rams have not looked the same. Yeah, I remember a couple weeks ago you were all excited. Oh, the Rams have a fully healthy O-line. They're back, and here they go. And here comes their run, but they've still been struggling. Their offense, with all the weapons on it, feel like hasn't been as explosive as it really should be.
Boom and the defense still aren't back, by the way.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. And the defensive line for the Rams, I do need to give them their props. They've been really heating it up these past couple weeks. They've been playing really well. But yeah, give me the Bills in this one with the leader in the MVP race right now, Josh Allen, to get it done. Everybody eats, and everybody also eats in SoFi Stadium. So give me the Buffalo Bills to win and keep pace with the Chiefs for the 1 seed as of right now.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and give myself a chalk of the Bills win as well. Another game where they dropped 30 points, 31-24, my final score. Until the Bills lose, I'm not picking against them in a lot of senses. I mean, maybe next week that'll change considering they play Detroit. We'll see how they fare against Green Bay. That'll be a monumental game for both sides. However, this one, Bills-Rams, I think this is a very fun game, back and forth as Owens Penn's proceeding to not work. Again, big shot. Anyway,
first time.
I think the Bills win this game 31-24. I think it's going to be fun back and forth. The Rams always seem to have some kind of way of just keeping it close against these good teams. I think this is another one that they do keep it close, but they can't get this one done. Buffalo rolls in LA, backed by Josh Allen, the MVP, winning this one 31-24. As we move into the final two games, the first of which being a massive game here. A game that really means a lot to these two teams, especially the team on the left. The right, I should say, the Chargers.
Both sides, really.
Chargers do need this, yes, but I should say the right, considering
Chargers need it more than the Chiefs, really.
Not really. If the Chiefs
are locked up in the playoffs already. Chargers are fighting for their lives.
They want a bye week.
Yeah, they do, but still. But yeah, for this game here, obviously big game for both sides. Gonna love hearing Chris Collinsworth just talk about Patrick Mahomes for 3 hours. That's gonna be great.
17-10 win last time for the Chiefs over the Chargers. However, the Chiefs need to win this game to stay atop first in the AFC West. Chargers trying to keep their playoff bid alive as they lost to the Broncos earlier this season. So a loss in this game would put them back down to the number 7 seed, believe it or not, because they lost to the Ravens as well, who are the other wild card team.
Fun fact, also, if the Chiefs win this game, they win the AFC West yet again. And with the
another fun fact, Mahomes has lost to every team in the division except for the Chargers.
Interesting. Especially interesting considering I'm picking the Chiefs to win this one. With the injuries to J.K. Dobbins and the questionable, we don't know if Vlad McConkey's playing either, and he's been a really big part of their offense.
Of course, the Chiefs just instantly, no, can't play.
Yeah, just all their great players get injured right before the Chiefs. But yeah, this is going to be another devil magic game for Kansas City. They are going to look like absolute shit in this game. But somehow, some way, at the very end, me and you are going to have hope, Thomas, that the Chargers might actually win. But the Chiefs will somehow pull this game out of their asshole, and they will find a way to win this game because that's just what they've been doing. They've been finding a way, and there's no way to pick against devil magic. So give me the Kansas City Chiefs. Also, fun fact, this is slight story time. When I was at work earlier today, Santa was in town today. So I sat in Santa's lap. I talked to Santa a bit. I talked with him some Bills football. Talked about having him give the Bills a Super Bowl win, for Christmas this year. And he literally just looked at me and told me no because of the Kansas City Chiefs. So give me the Chiefs to win this one. If Santa doesn't think the Bills can do it or think the Chiefs can't win the Super Bowl or can win the Super Bowl, whichever way. Yeah. But give me Kansas City Chiefs to win this one, win the AFC West yet again, and advance to 12-1.
Yeah, I have a final score: Chiefs 24, Chargers 23. The Chargers are going to get a last-second touchdown to tie it, go for two, and fail because that's just how it goes. However, not literally. My final score.
No, it's actually so realistic.
My final score is 24-20. I think the Chiefs do win this game, though. Unfortunately for the Chargers, I think this is a game where you haven't been able to beat the Chiefs. And I understand that if there's any team left on their schedule, I understand they play the Steelers. I understand they play the Texans. If there's any team on the schedule that I trust to beat the Chiefs, it's the Chargers because of Jim Harbaugh. However, unfortunately, I'm going to have to ride with the Kansas City Chiefs in this game. They're going to win this one against the Chargers. It's going to be a final score of 24-20 as the Chiefs win this one at home against a very good LA Chargers team. If this was back at SoFi this time of season with the implications that this game has with Herbert this time and not losing Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa and everybody else to injury right before the game, I feel like the Chargers can win.
James suspension too.
Yeah, exactly. So 24-20, the Chiefs are going to win this game. As we move in to the final game, the Simpsons special, it is the Bengals and the Cowboys from Dallas, Texas. Cowboys just won another game on the short week of Thanksgiving, their second win in a row, despite starting 3-7. There's some hope there with Cooper Rush starting to get going, or do the Bengals shut him down? It's kind of crazy to me that even though they don't have Dak, they somehow have a better record than the Cincinnati Bengals. That's pure patheticness from the Bengals, in my opinion. Who do you got winning this one since he really needs it? Dallas does too, but not nearly as much. Who do you got winning this one, Owen, on Monday night to close out Week 14?
It's pretty funny that this game is the Simpsons special because both these teams really dope this season. Both of the Bengals and the Cowboys, because both teams have not lived up to expectations this season. But give me the Cincinnati Bengals to win this one. I've not really been picking the Bengals too much this season, but I'm going to pick them in this one. I still hate the Bengals defense, but seeing how great the Bengals offense has been recent weeks, I think they're going to have little issue against Dallas's defense. And I feel like Dallas's defense is kind of starting to get a little bit iffy, even though they did play pretty well overall against the Giants, but, it was the Giants. And, who do you trust in the shootout more? Do you trust Joe Burrow in that offense, or do you trust Cooper Rush more in that offense? So that's really what it comes down to me in this one, and I think the Bengals will win this one. I don't think it's going to be a blowout, but I do think the Bengals probably score 30-plus points in this one. So give me Cincinnati to win this one and keep their season alive for at least this next week here.
Yeah, I feel like this is just a team that they match up so well against. It's a team that can't do much against their shit defense. It's a team that is not going to exploit their rush defense that's just absolute garbage because they have Rico Dowdle as their starting running back. So because of that, I have the Bengals winning as well, 31-10. I think they decimate them on the road. This is a game where Bengals fans are going to be able to be satisfied for the first time probably all season as they get this job done. I think it's going to be a very back and forth game at the beginning, probably 10-10, somewhere in that realm, somewhere near the second quarter, late second quarter, maybe halftime. But I think the Bengals pull away in the second half. They get this one done on the Simpsons special. I think they do enough in this game, as I just don't see a world where Dallas can win 3 in a row without Dak Prescott, especially with how they played to start the season. It's kind of funny now that they the rest of the team wants to, actually show up and start playing when Dak's gone. But either way, the Bengals, I think, have this one in the bag. They'll get this one done, and that'll close out Week 14 with us deciding 3 games differently. Niners, Bears, I have Niners, you have Bears. Vikings, Falcons, you have Vikings, I have Falcons. And the last one being the first one this week, that being the Lions, Packers, I have Detroit, you have Green Bay. as we say goodbye to you all, thank you so much for watching another episode of the OT Podcast. I'm Thomas Bailey. Alongside me, Owen Reed, or should I say above me, the man upstairs. But Owen, thank you so much for joining me again, buddy, and take it away to close us out.
All right, if you guys enjoyed this video, a thumbs up would be greatly appreciated. If you guys like what we're doing here on this channel or on Spotify, whatever, follow, subscribing, be greatly appreciated. I'll leave our socials as well in the description below. So without further ado, I got nothing else to say except Life Forms out.